My name is Adam Riddell. I'm the director of the Structured Data and Feeds team. And my team's role is to take our clients' data and organize it and optimize it into these data feeds that we can then use across all of your different marketing channels to help activate against.
I'm Kysar. I'm the manager of the site and conversion rate optimization team. And our team is focused on user studies and A/B testing to improve the performance of your website.
So a couple months ago, I was going to see the new Zoolander movie, and I had, it wasn't as good as the first one. And I had bought my movie ticket, and I was sitting on the couch watching TV, and all of a sudden my phone starts blowing up, and it's Google telling me that I need to get in my car right now or I'm going to be late for the movie. And I was kind of like, phew, until I realized that Google has, they had my receipt for my Gmail, and they had my GPS information because I had allowed it to them, and they were able to connect the dots to say, okay, I needed to go at this time. And that's not that crazy, thinking about them being able to connect those dots. But it is, that level of intimacy is what we've come to expect from technology in this day and age.
A couple weeks ago, I was traveling, and I couldn't find my hotel reservation, couldn't find an email, nothing. And I was getting in the cab thinking, where am I going? And I remembered that anytime that I make reservations, I can go to my Google Maps, and it shows me where I'm going to stay. So you can just kind of zoom in to that general area, and there it is. So incredibly helpful. Also just very warm and welcoming. I was sitting at the desk in my hotel room, and it says Kysar on it, just like as if I were at work. Technically, I am. And then I was flipping through the channels, too, and it says, welcome, Kysar. So not creepy to me at all. It's very not helpful, but very welcoming. And we expect that. So 70% of our consumers expect that very personalized experience when they interact with our brands. Bless you.
So we have a fun little activity, just to keep things interesting. But we need a couple volunteers, so just 2 volunteers.
And also we need Jeff.
What brave souls. Yes, we do need Jeff. You're mandatory. This is not difficult. It's fun. I just need 2 brave volunteers. Or we're going to start picking people. There we go. Awesome. There's one. There's one more.
You just get to be sold, too. Yeah, you just
Nate,
stand.
We're picking you.
Yeah,
Nate, you're
Nate,
up.
come on.
All right, so Nate, you're going to have, Nate, come down here. Why don't you go join Karen, and you can take this. Nate, you can come down here. Okay. So, Nate, you're going to have about 15 seconds to sell Jeff on this deck of cards. You need to get him to buy this deck of cards from you. All right? You have 15 seconds.
This information and try to sell this deck of cards.
One deck of cards.
I'll let you digest that.
This deck of cards is from Encore. This is one of the coolest places we've been, and it's a memento from the iProspect Summit. You won't be able to ever get that again.
All right, that's time. That's time. You're done. That's time.
Good job. All
Whenever
right,
you're ready, Jill.
Now it's your turn. Yep.
This is a hard activity.
Yes. Yes.
So, Jeff, knowing that you have, some kiddos in this right here, you could play some crazy eights.
I love playing crazy.
Right?
So
interesting. Keep the kids, busy in the car. Well, you're going to buy it right there.
This is great.
That was great.
Let's play later. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It was a great
That was awesome.
Thank you. You guys can sit down. You guys can sit down.
Thank you.
You can keep the cards. You can keep the cards. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jill. So what you guys may not have known is that Jill actually had a lot of personal information about Jeff that she was able to use to sell that Nate unfortunately did not. And Jeff, did you feel more inclined to buy from Jill with her more personalized messaging?
Yeah, for sure. I love crazy eights with a boy.
Exactly, he loves crazy eights. And that's not really a surprise. I mean, really, none of us are really shocked by that. But what we were really trying to showcase is that digital is a conversation. Much like the conversation that Jill and Jeff just had, there are contextual signals that we need to listen for that exist as data. Who is Jeff? What is Jeff interested in? What products is he looking for? Crazy Eights is his favorite game. All of that data exists as structured data. Whether it's your CRM, your customer information, whether it's information about your goods or your services, it all exists as structured data. But the challenge is some of it is easier to tap into than others when it comes to using it to personalize that experience. So that's where our structured data team comes into play in conjunction with our different channel marketing teams to help you guys identify which of those pieces of data is the most impactful to use to enhance this experience. And there are a number of tools that are emerging in the space, things like Customer Match and RLSA, which were once only available for paid search, but are now making their way into Google Shopping and other programs, which if you're not familiar with, allow you to segment your audience based off of their behavior on your site or their searches or how they're interacting with you. And these tools allow you to use some of that data in more of a structured way to really reach the right person at the right time.
So all these tools that Adam's mentioned are really listening tools for us. And good conversation starts with good listening skills. A good relationship is built on good conversation. You can build a meaningful relationship by having relevant conversation with your consumer. So we're going to talk about the purchase cycle today. But before we do that, I wanted to ask you to think about speed dating. So has anybody ever done that before? Zach, I feel like that's probably how you met your wife. Did you really? Okay. Do you want to explain to everybody how that works? No?
No, I mean, I can. I was just sort of rolling my eyes because it was terrible. But yeah, you just sit down at a table, or at least when I did this, the girls all sat at a table, and then guys sort of rotated, much like we're doing now with the insights.
Oh. Okay.
What?
Yep,
No,
yep.
that's not at all.
Yeah, basically it was a 5-minute pitch on why they were a good match. It was painful.
Exactly. Well, yes, exactly. It can be painful. It's a short amount of time, and it's the same relationship that we have with our consumers. So we have a limited amount of time to make a very good first impression, and we're competing with this long line of dudes that we may or may not know anything about, and we're just trying to make that connection, this one-to-one connection, so that we can get a date or a conversion. So today we're going to talk about the purchase cycle and how we can use the data that we have, the listening tools that we have, so that we can deliver the right message at the right time.
So I get to explain how digital conversation is speed dating. So this is going to be fun. And the first thing is you sit down at that table. And to quote Game of Thrones, you know nothing about your consumer. And so when you're sitting there, how do you make content that's relevant to them when you know absolutely nothing about them? And what it comes down to is what you know about yourself, your own products, your own services, what you're putting out there, and making sure that it's relevant as possible for your potential audience. And how that comes into play is by differentiating yourself with the product or the information that you know about what you're offering. Are you breaking your content out into a way that aligns to what these people are specifically looking for? For instance, maybe you sell shirts, and you sell a variety of different sizes and colors and for different brands and for different genders. And you have all this information, and how do you make that relevant? Well, it comes down to structuring your data in a way that highlights those specific pieces of information that are relevant to the consumer. Myself, I'm a pretty large guy. I need a 2XL t-shirt. I need a striped shirt to hide my dad bod. And I'm looking for a blue shirt. So when I go online and I search for this product, if I find a large or a medium shirt, well, that's irrelevant to me. It's a waste of spend. It's a waste of traffic. What we want to do is make sure that our content is structured in a way that aligns to these queries that these people are going to be having, so that we're putting ourselves out there and we're relevant with the information that we do have. And so the next piece is you've now had that conversation. So you're at this table, you found someone that they're talking to you, you're listening for those signals. I talked about those contextual signals. Well, this is where that comes back into play. You're now listening to them telling you what they're interested in, and you're tapping into that. But the question is, you look down the line, like Karen mentioned, and there's 40 other people that they're going to talk to, and 40 other people that you're going to talk to. So how do you reach the right people? You're only going to have a limited amount of time. How do you make sure you're investing your time properly in the people that you know are important to you? And what that comes down to is segmenting your audience in a way that allows you to invest smarter in the right people at the right time. And how you're able to do that is through those tools that I talked about before, things like Customer Match or like RLSA that let you listen for those pieces of conversation that your clients are telling you. In this case, that exists as how they're interacting with your site, what pages are they landing on, where are they going, and using that data to your advantage to help bridge the gap with them per se. So we do this for a number of our clients. If you're not using RLSA or Customer Match, you should be. Come talk to us. One of the ways that we're doing this for UPS is to help them with their Connect business page. So UPS offers a service called Connect that helps small businesses with their logistics. And in order to help them kind of reach that, we wanted to listen for what are those people who would be interested in that Connect page doing. And so we wanted the kind of signals that, hey, we know they're invested in a small business, they're part of a small business, but we also know that they've never been to a Connect page. So we use these programs, these RLSA programs, to find individuals and group them who had visited other small business pages, taking the inference that they had a small business and had never been to the Connect page. And we increased our investment in those specific consumers to direct them to this page. And doing that drove a lift in both return and conversion rate for those consumers over the campaigns that we had tried to reach them previously. So that's just one way that we can use these little signals, these pieces of data, to help better reach the right audience at the right time.
So we talk a lot about having good conversation skills, and something that makes people very effective at having good conversation is mirroring. So this is a really great example of how we've taken a search query and mirrored that in a search ad. So instantly making that connection, saying, I hear you, I see what you're asking me for, and taking it a step further and driving them to this dynamic landing page that iProspect built for Hilton. So I know your preference is Hilton, so that's the first result that you get. I know you're looking for Las Vegas, so that's the geo I'm going to show you. And then I also know that from your behavior on my website, you are a Hilton Honors member, so that's the pricing I'm going to show you. So this is a very segmented, mirrored experience based on a very small piece of information that you've given me and some data that we got from you using our website. Amazing results on this one. It doesn't have to be that sophisticated, though, so we can take a very basic characteristic of you, really your geo. So for Epicor, we built hundreds of geo-targeted landing pages and slightly tweaked the imagery, slightly tweaked the content, made it very relevant to your geo. We know the pain points that you have because of how people interact on your website, so we know that this is important information for you. And just by taking that segment and building out these pages, we saw 163% improvement in conversion rate for this program. So this is segmentation. That's great. Segmentation is not personalization, so personalization is the unicorn, right? And personalization requires a one-on-one conversation. The trick is there is a lot of data. So I see Adam at the speed dating table. I really like him, and we start having this conversation, and he's telling me, so we have, text exchanges. He tells me he knows that I think you would really like this restaurant based on all the things that you've told me. I think you would really like this book, so here's a link to it on Amazon. And he knows, based on his interactions with other females, these are the things that really get girls excited. Knowing books and food. But he has taken these signals. He knows what works because he knows his target audience, and we should know our target audience. So if you don't, you have to go ask them, and we at iProspect have the tools to help you understand your consumers. But really, you know what's important to them, so let's take those pieces of data and present them a very personalized experience, similar to this example of something we're working on with one of our clients. So, Yenny, you have come to this page 5 times already, but you haven't bought it. So clearly you love this bag, but something is keeping you from buying it. So the next time you come to this page, we're gonna say, Yenny, there's only a few left. The next time you come, might not be here anymore. You also really like celebrity gossip sites. So we've pulled in this content showing you one of the Jenner girls wearing this bag. And then also we have a lot of data about products that we have, right? So we know the silhouette of this bag. We know the other bags that we carry that are very similar, but maybe are a different price range. Maybe the barrier of entry is price for you. So we've dynamically built this category that shows more like this bag so that you don't leave. So you are exploring on our site, seeing relevant product and relevant content that is important to you, that will compel you to act on our website.
And the beauty of this is that all of this data, whether it's related products, third-party insights about social signals, inventory about what's left, it all exists as structured data. And you can tap into that and use that to power these kinds of programs. But, and there's always a but, the site is no longer the only place that a consumer can convert. There are a lot of programs emerging, like purchases on Google or the Google Buy button or whatever they're going to name it next week, as well as things like Amazon shoppable ads that keep that transaction on their own site. And the truth is that there are lazy consumers like myself, who I told you I needed Google to tell me when to get in my car, that rely on this kind of technology to help shorten that path to purchase. And you don't want to lose out on those consumers. So it's imperative that, just as I talked about earlier about differentiating your content and providing that data in a structured way that makes it relevant, you need to be providing that data to these partners as well. If you ever hear me talk about structured data, there are two things that I always harp on, and it's the quality of your data. Do you have all the attributes that you can possibly be showing about whatever goods or service or product you have, as well as the relevancy of your data. Are you providing your data in a way that's going to match to how consumers search for your product? And you need to be providing that data in that way to these partners as well. So we talked a lot about how to make you good at speed dating. We talked a lot about how to optimize against the consumer on their journey, but there are three key things that we really want you guys to focus on. And it comes down to, are you structuring your data in a way, both for on-site and on-site customer, or off-site and on-site customers, that allow you to personalize that messaging for the right audience? And then to piggyback off of that, are you identifying the most impactful pieces of data that is relevant to your consumer for that personal messaging? And then the last piece, which is something that you can do now, today, or maybe on Monday when you get back from Vegas, to tap into, is using those tools and those services that are emerging, things like Customer Match, things like RLSA or Bing remarketing ads, to make sure that you're reaching the right consumer at the right time with those contextual signals that we talked about that are in that conversation that you're having with your potential customers, and tapping into that and using that data to improve that experience for them. So that's been our Insight Lab. Thank you guys for joining us. Please, please, please rate us on the iProspect Summit app. This is our third lab, I think, so we should have it down pat by about now.